Have you ever wondered why, even though you're working harder than ever and your income keeps rising year after year, the dream of buying a house in America still feels farther and farther away? In 2026, home prices in the United States are not just expensive, they are expensive to the point of being irrational compared to the income of ordinary workers. A house large enough for a family to live in, with 2 to 3 bedrooms, in an area that is not too central, can now easily reach $400,000 to $450,000. Meanwhile, the median household income in the US is only around $70,000 to $80,000 per year. The gap between home prices and income is being stretched like a rope that is about to snap. In the past, buying a home was a milestone of stability. Today, buying a home has become a stressful financial equation that lasts 30 years. The down payment keeps getting higher. Mortgage rates remain high enough to discourage many people. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance costs quietly erode your monthly income. And the most ironic part is this: you are not overspending, you do not have credit card debt, you are still saving regularly. But when you look at home prices, you still feel like you are standing outside the game. In that context, many young people in America are forced to ask, is buying a home right now still the right thing to do? Or has the system changed and we simply have not adapted yet? If you are carrying that same feeling, you are not alone. And perhaps it is time for us to look directly at the truth of the U.S. housing market in 2026. No sugarcoating, no fear, just clear understanding so we can make calmer and wiser decisions. Before we get into the solutions, we need to understand the reality of who can actually afford to buy a house in America in 2026. Let's begin with an uncomfortable truth. In dozens of housing markets across the United States today, the lowest average home price is around $300,000 in states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, and can go up to $500,000 in states like New York and California. That amount of money does not buy you a mansion. It is only enough for about a 120 square meter home with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a small yard. The median household income in America is around $60,000 per year. That means we are asking most Americans earning $60,000 a year to buy houses that cost 6 to 8 times their annual income. Owning a home is the dream of many people, but with home prices this high, not everyone can afford their dream home. I'm Sophia. With more than 10 years of experience working in banking, I have studied the real estate market a great deal and how it operates. I have worked very hard to find 6 ways that can help you own your dream home in a gentler and simpler way, especially method number 5 and number 6. These are methods that very few people tell you about. Let's discover these secrets together. Method 1. Take out a mortgage. This is the simplest method and the one almost everyone thinks of first. It is very easy to understand, and everyone knows about it, but when you actually try to do it, it can be discouraging. For example, if James is planning to buy a $500,000 house in California, here is what James needs to prepare. First, he needs a down payment. No bank will lend you 100% of the value of the house. According to the rule for optimizing loan interest, the ideal down payment is 20%, which is $100,000 upfront. Yes, that is $100,000. Meanwhile, the median savings balance in America is only about $8,000. You are not just a little short. You are short by $92,000. Let's assume you earn $75,000 per year, which is a decent middle-level income, and you manage to save 10% of your income every year, something that almost nobody can actually do. That means you save $7,500 per year. At that rate, you would need more than 13 years to save enough for the down payment, assuming home prices do not rise, which of course they will. You might say the bank does not require such a high down payment. That is true. The bank will still lend to you with a lower down payment, but there is a hidden trap waiting for you. PMI, private mortgage insurance, which raises your borrowing costs. If you decide to put down only 5% to 10%, like most people do, the bank will immediately activate the PMI condition. This is a monthly fee you have to pay because you are not wealthy enough to put down 20%. It works like a kind of poor tax, around $200 to $400 per month, and it protects the bank's loan, not you. After the down payment, there is still the principal, interest, and all the hidden costs of owning a home. Here is what the real cost looks like if James puts down 10% equals $50,000, which is what most people choose. Remaining loan amount, $450,000. Interest rate 6 to 7% implies monthly principal plus interest is about $2,750 to $2,850, but that is not all. Property tax, about $500 per month. Home insurance, $250 to $350 per month. Maintenance, 1% of home value per year, $400 per month. PMI, $300 per month. Total housing cost, about $4,400 per month. And that is in a scenario where nothing breaks, the roof does not need repair, and there are no surprise HOA fees. Also, according to the safest financial standard, housing costs should only be around 28% of your gross income. If housing costs are $4,400 per month, then James would need an annual income of about $180,000 or $15,000 per month. That is an extremely high number. Even under the bank's maximum allowable threshold, where housing costs can go up to 43% of income, James would still need an income of $120,000 per year or $10,000 per month. With costs this high, very few Americans can buy a house completely on their own in 2026. This is the easiest method to try, but it is also the most painful for your wallet. Method 2. Buy a house. Together and share the costs. James alone earns only $70,000 per year, like 80% of other Americans. That is nowhere near the $120,000 to $180,000 per year needed to buy a home alone. So James can get married, start a family, and share the burden of homeownership with his wife. If James's wife also earns around $70,000 per year, then their combined income will be enough to buy a home and make the mortgage payments comfortably every month. If James does not want to get married yet, he can choose to buy a house together with his parents, siblings, or friends. When you buy together, it becomes a shared investment asset, and the bank calculates the loan repayment ability based on the income of both people, which makes it much easier for James. Method 3. Rent and invest the money you save. If James does not yet have enough money to handle mortgage interest, does not want to get married, and does not want to buy a house with someone else, then James should rent and use the money he saves to invest in strong, long-term assets like the NASDAQ, S&P 500 index funds, ETFs, total market funds, and similar investments. If James consistently saves and invests $1,000 per month into these funds with an average annual return of 8%, then after 10 years, James will have about $183,000. That is not a small amount at all. After 15 years, he would have about $348,000. And after 20 years, he could have as much as $589,000. That is a large amount of money, enough for James to buy a home on his own. The secret here is starting early, staying disciplined, and investing for the long term in reliable funds. Money will grow quietly on its own. If James invests $1,000 every month starting at age 22, then by age 37 or 42, he may already have enough money to buy his dream home. This method is especially reasonable when you are young and living alone, and it is even more optimal if you are living with your parents while working. In that case, you save on rent and use that money to invest for the long term, so that when you are older, you have enough money for the down payment on your dream home. Method 4. Move to a state where home prices are more reasonable. If you work for a large company with branches, factories, or offices in different states, you can absolutely research the option of transferring to a branch, plant, or office in a place where home prices are more reasonable. For example, if you are currently in states like New York or California, where average home prices are around $500,000, you could move to states like Michigan or Pennsylvania, where average home prices are only around $250,000 to $300,000. With a home price of around $250,000, you may only need a down payment of $25,000, and your monthly principal plus interest payment might be only about $1,497. That is a number that most people would feel much more comfortable with, and they could sleep much better at night. The four methods above are the very common ones that most people already know about. Now comes the special part. Method number 5 and number 6 are much less talked about, but they can create surprisingly large value and are things that most people can actually apply. Method 5. Buy a house a little farther from the city center. This method can help optimize the cost of buying a house. According to one estimate, if you live 10 kilometers farther from the center, home prices may drop by about $30,000 to $50,000. If you live 20 kilometers farther, the price may drop by $50,000 to $100,000. If you live 30 kilometers farther, the price may drop by $100,000 to $150,000. And if you live more than 40 kilometers away, the price may drop by more than $150,000. So, what should you do with that information? First, James should choose a place that is a moderate distance away, around 10 kilometers to 20 kilometers from the center. That way, James can save around $100,000 when buying a house, while still not spending too much on gas to commute to work. Also, James's quality of life will not decline too much because access to schools, hospitals, and shopping centers will still not be too far away. Another small tip that James has used very effectively is this: study the local real estate market very carefully, review zoning and development plans, and notice whether major corporations are planning to build headquarters, supermarkets, entertainment areas, or parks nearby in the next 5 to 10 years. If so, that is the place you should consider buying now. It can help your home appreciate faster and reach a much higher value in the future. In addition, James looks for homes that are reasonably priced, around 5% to 10% below market value. By doing that alone, James may already save $25,000 to $50,000. When your home increases in value better than others in the same area, you can completely choose to sell it and use the profit difference to pay down your mortgage principal early. And that is the secret that allows James to pay off his mortgage principal and interest in only 5 to 10 years. The real secret here is that when you go looking for a home, you need to study the real estate market carefully, research home prices carefully, understand zoning and development plans, and tour many homes to find the most financially optimal choice for your limited budget. When you do not have much money, then you need to learn more. More knowledge will make your wallet hurt less. Method 6. Live in the house and rent. Out part of it. If your income is not yet high, but you still want to buy your own home, then you can take advantage of homes with multiple rooms and rent out some of those rooms in your own house. That way, you may be able to earn an extra $1,000 to $2,000 per month consistently, and use that money to help pay more toward your monthly mortgage principal and interest. This can help you sleep much better when you have a mortgage. This is a major benefit that can reduce your financial burden, but it also comes with some complications, such as privacy, security, taxes, insurance, and home depreciation. To avoid problems when renting out part of the home, James uses several strategies. First, if possible, arrange a separate entrance for the tenant. When the tenant has a different way in, through the basement, from the side of the house, or through a divided private entryway, it will almost not affect the privacy of the homeowner and the tenant. Second, when renting out rooms, James chooses tenants very carefully. He only prioritizes students, working professionals, and people with similar lifestyles or preferences to his own in order to avoid conflict when living together. James owns the house, so he has full authority to decide who lives there with him. James does not rush. He chooses carefully so the tenant can stay long term and not disrupt his lifestyle. Third, James has clear rules. He makes a clear contract with the tenant. The contract is not only about rent price and payment terms, but also about house rules, what activities are allowed and not allowed, what kinds of damages require compensation, and under what circumstances the agreement may be terminated early. If everything is made clear from the start, there will be less discomfort and fewer disputes later. As for important issues like tax and insurance, first, clearly inform your home insurance provider that you are renting out rooms so that insurance will properly cover problems if risks occur. As for taxes, report everything fully, but also make sure to claim the deductions you are legally allowed to take, such as mortgage interest, property tax, home insurance, repairs and maintenance, utilities, the rented portion, and especially home depreciation. For example, if James has a 4-bedroom house and rents out 2 rooms, then James may deduct 50% of the relevant expenses. You can deduct based on the area being rented out. These are legitimate deductions allowed by law. The only question is whether you remember to use them. If you report everything properly, then the tax due from the rental activity may be zero or only around $100 to $200 per month. Method number 5 and number 6 require you to invest time in learning more about real estate. However, they can help you buy your dream home in a much more comfortable and manageable way. These are secret methods that very few people know and share with you. Final thoughts. In the end, there is no single path to buying a house. Some people choose to take out a mortgage and pay it gradually over many years. Some people buy a house together with friends or relatives to share the upfront costs. Some people continue renting for a while, using the extra money to invest and save for a larger down payment later. Some people buy a house and then rent out part of it to help cover the mortgage. Some move to areas where home prices are lower so they can own real estate more easily. And some choose to buy farther from the city center in exchange for a more reasonable price that fits their financial ability. Each choice has its own pros and cons. What matters is not which method you choose, but whether that method fits your financial situation and your life goals. A home can be a wonderful asset, but it is also a very big financial decision. So choose the path that helps you both have a place to live and still maintain long-term financial stability. Because the ultimate goal is not only to own a house, but to build a financial life that is stronger and less stressful in the future. I'm Sophia. These are lessons I have drawn from my own journey. I hope they help guide you towards success in a gentler and easier way. I may have missed something, so I would love to receive your comments and suggestions so we can improve together. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to motivate me to create more content.